Party, the illusion of noise. In the modern world, power has a sound. It is the sound of the loudest voice in the boardroom, the aggressive posturing on social media, the visible display of dominance. We have been conditioned by evolutionary biology and modern culture to believe that the leader of the pack, the alpha, is the one beating his chest, U200B, but there is a glitch in this matrix, a deviation from the standard hierarchy. U200B. Imagine a crowded room. The loud alpha is in the center, holding court, demanding attention, feeding on the validation of the tribe. But in the periphery, there is someone else. He is not hiding. He is not shy. He is simply still. He is the silent alpha. U200B. He does not ask for attention, yet he commands respect. He does not compete for the hierarchy. He exists outside of it. Tonight we deconstruct the mind of this enigmatic figure. We strip away the internet slang and look at the raw psychology and the ancient philosophy that powers the man who speaks less but sees everything. U200B. This is the story of the power of silence. U200B Part 2. The psychological architecture. To understand the silent alpha, we must first dismantle the misconception of introversion. U200B. In popular culture, introversion is often confused with social anxiety or timidity. This is a fatal error in judgment. The silent alpha is not afraid of social interaction. He is simply economical with it. U200BP. Psychologically, we look at the big 5 personality traits. The loud alpha scores high in extroversion. He requires external stimulation to feel energized. He needs the crowd. The silent alpha, however, possesses a unique psychological signature. U200B. Selective extroversion. He has the social skills to charm, to lead, and to dominate. But he views these as tools, not needs. He uses them only when necessary. U200B. High conscientiousness. He is driven by internal goals, not external applause. U200B. Low neuroticism. This is his superpower. He possesses an emotional stability that makes him appear almost unshakable. U200B. Case study, the architect. Let us picture a character. Let's call him the architect. He sits in a high-stakes negotiation. Across the table, the opposing CEO is yelling, using intimidation tactics, slamming his fist. This is the classic dominance display, an attempt to trigger a fight-or-flight response. U200B. Most people would shrink, submission, or yell back, aggression. The architect does neither. He maintains eye contact. His heart rate does not spike. He waits for the noise to stop. When he finally speaks, his voice is low, requiring the room to lean in. He says 3 words that dismantle the opponent's argument. This is the gray rock method weaponized. In psychology, becoming a gray rock is a defensive technique against narcissists, making yourself uninteresting. But the silent alpha uses a variation of this, strategic non-reactivity. By not reacting to the loud alpha's emotional turbulence, the silent alpha signals that he is the one in control of reality. He who reacts less holds the power. 3. The philosophical core, Stoicism and the fortress. The psychology of the silent alpha is not accidental. It is often built upon a bedrock of philosophy. Whether he knows it or not, the silent alpha is a practicing Stoic. In the 2nd century, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." For the silent alpha, this is the operating system. 1. The dichotomy of control. The loud alpha tries to control the environment, the people, and the narrative. This is exhausting and fragile. If the crowd stops cheering, the loud alpha's ego collapses. The silent alpha focuses only on what is within his control, his own thoughts, his own actions, his own competence. He builds an internal fortress. This makes him dangerous in a competitive environment because you cannot leverage his ego against him. You cannot flatter him into submission, and you cannot insult him into a rage. 2. Amor fati, love of fate. When chaos strikes, the crowd panics. The silent alpha observes. He accepts the chaos not as a disaster, but as the raw material for his next move. This is the philosophical concept of amor fati. Let's go back to our story. The company faces a crisis. The stock is plummeting. The leaders are frantic, holding emergency meetings, looking for someone to blame. The silent alpha is in his office working. He isn't ignoring the fire. He is calculating the wind direction. He understands that panic is a tax on intellect. By remaining silent, he preserves the mental bandwidth required to solve the problem. I fee, the shadow hierarchy. Nietzsche and the lone wolf. Why does society fear the silent man? Because silence represents the unknown, and the unknown is dangerous. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the Ubermensch, the overman, a being who transcends the herd mentality to create his own values. The silent alpha embodies this separation from the herd. In the animal kingdom, the hierarchy is clear. The alpha wolf leads, the betas follow. But the silent alpha is the lone wolf, not because he was kicked out of the pack, but because he outgrew it. The philosophy of autonomy. Most people are mimetic. They want things because other people want them. They want the corner office because it signals status. They want the luxury car to signal wealth. The silent alpha suffers from a lack of mimetic desire. He does not want what you want. This makes him unpredictable. If you offer the silent alpha a promotion that requires him to play office politics, he might decline. This confuses the hierarchy. Why doesn't he want power, they ask. But he does want power. He just wants a different kind. The loud alpha wants position power, titles, authority, corner offices. The silent alpha wants personal power, autonomy, freedom, competence, and the ability to walk away. The walk-away power. In negotiation theory, the person who is most willing to walk away from the deal has the most leverage. Because the silent alpha derives his validation internally, he is always ready to walk away. He is not attached to the tribe's approval. This gives him the ultimate leverage in relationships and business. He is not desperate. In a world of thirsty people, the man carrying his own water is king. Let us analyze the physical presence of the silent alpha. It is distinct and biologically rooted. 1. The ocular dominance. Studies in nonverbal communication show that people who look away while speaking are perceived as submissive. People who stare too intensely are perceived as aggressive. The silent alpha utilizes the soft gaze. It is unwavering but calm. It signals, I see you, but I am not threatened by you. When you speak to him, he listens, truly listens. In a world of people waiting for their turn to speak, active listening is a dominant trait. It allows him to gather information. While the loud alpha is broadcasting his plans, the silent alpha is decrypting the loud alpha's insecurities. 2. The economy of words. There is a concept in power dynamics. Scarcity creates value. If you flood the market with gold, gold becomes cheap. If you flood the room with your words lose weight. The silent alpha creates a scarcity of his own voice. Because he speaks rarely, his words are treated as currency. When he finally unmutes himself, the room goes quiet. He doesn't have to shout. The scarcity of his input forces the audience to amplify his volume. The pause. He is a master of the uncomfortable silence. Most people rush to fill silence because it makes them anxious. The silent alpha lets the silence hang in the air. He uses it as a mirror, forcing the other person to project their own anxieties into the void. We must not romanticize this archetype without looking at the cost. The path of the silent alpha is not without its shadows. The echo chamber of the mind, living inside one's head, comes with a price. The silent alpha is prone to over-analysis. Because he observes everything, every micro-expression, every tone shift, he can suffer from paralysis by analysis. He sees the chess moves 10 steps ahead, which can sometimes prevent him from enjoying the simplicity of the moment. The risk of detachment. Schopenhauer, the philosopher of pessimism, famously compared humans to porcupines in the winter. If we get too close, we prick each other with our quills, social friction. If we stay too far apart, we freeze, loneliness. The silent alpha often chooses the cold. He risks emotional detachment. By shielding himself from the drama of the herd, he also shields himself from the warmth of deep connection. He is often admired, respected and feared, but rarely deeply known. This is the solitude paradox. To maintain his autonomy, he must sacrifice intimacy. He walks a fine line between solitude, the joy of being alone, and isolation, the pain of being alone. As we move further into the digital age, the noise is increasing. Social media has created a world of constant broadcasting, a billion people screaming, "Look at me." In this economy of attention, the silent alpha is becoming an increasingly rare and valuable asset. He is the signal in the noise. He is the anchor in the storm. He teaches us that true power is not about how loud you can roar, but about the ability to bite when it matters. He teaches us that while the world rewards the extrovert in the short term, the long game belongs to the observer. So, the next time you are in a room full of people shouting over one another, do not look at the person waving their hands. Look for the one sitting in the back, calm, watching, waiting. That is where the power is,